Side Scrollers is brought to you by you. If you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/sidescrollers. It's time for Side Scrollers on youtube.com with me, Stuttering Craig. I like movies that have sand in them. Wow.
He doesn't like it in his mouth.
And producer extraordinaire, Travis Key.
I don't like the texture in my mouth.
What? And brought to you by you, the G2 community at patreon.com/sidescrollers. And now, broadcasting from our homes, it's time for the #1 gaming and entertainment podcast on planet Earth. It's time for Side Scrollers.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, welcome on out to Side Scrollers on youtube.com and rumble.com and twitch.tv. What's going on, everybody? Hey, I'm Stuttering Craig. Welcome to the #1 video game and internet podcast on planet Earth. Side Scrollers. Great to see everybody. Happy Thursday to you. Man, we got a good show for you today. We got so much to talk about. There's so much joy and happiness in the world right now. It's insane. I can't wait to share it with you. And we'll start off by introducing the man with a 115-degree heat wave striking his world to the point his dog doesn't even want to go outside. It's Travis Keys.
It's hot. That's
hot,
all I got.
bitch.
That's it.
There you go. Speaking of hot, bitch, it's Flabs.
I was gonna ask if there were trees falling down for Travis's heat waving. Dad over here is like a hot bitches. What's up, Labs? Goddamn.
You know, I try to tie things in, in the best way possible in conversation. And sometimes it doesn't work out very well.
I saw the instant regret out as soon as you were saying, you're like, what have I said? What have I done?
And we're having fun here, no? We're having a good time. Man, we got a good one today. We have a great guest joining us in about 5 seconds. It's going to be great. She is known for pop culture movies and gaming reviews, podcasts, and all sorts of commentary. For the first time ever, let's introduce Wicked Virtue. Hello, Wicked Virtue. How are you?
Happy to be here. I agree. Blabs is hot. So, that was a good segue.
For the record,
I want to make Blabs blush.
I was not saying that.
You were just segueing. I get it, but I think Blabs is hot. So own it, Blabs. Oh, no. I made it weird. Sorry. Hello, everyone.
That's okay. Listen, making things awkward is how I like to do things, which is great. Really awkward, really weird. But look, so before we get into all the fun stuff and talking about all the great, wonderful things happening in the world today, how about you tell everybody who you are and why they should go subscribe to your YouTube channel and all that fun stuff.
Okay, I'm Wicked Virtue. And like Craig said, I do a lot of podcasts, commentary, gaming news, video game, movies, TV shows. I kind of pick and choose, though. I don't really review everything new that comes out. Kind of just if I went to see it and if it's hot, like Barbie, for instance, which is like the great debate of our time at the moment. It really is. It's so kind of funny. Like Oppenheimer comes out and then Barbie, and like the one being talked about the most is Barbie. But yeah, that's what I do. I game on Kick. A few times a week. I'm big into that. I like retro and horror games and Sea of Thieves. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I do my podcast twice a week. I usually have a guest, at least one of them, and we talk about what's popular going on right now in pop culture. And we keep it fun though. It's pretty light. It's a fun time.
I like the idea of Barbie being the great debate of our time.
It is, though. Tell me it's not. Tell me you don't see pink every time you log on to anything on the internet right now.
Oh, it's
Everywhere.
exhausting. Everything's exhausting all the time. It's just exhausting. It really is. But I just a real quick Cliff Notes. You saw the movie. I saw your review, and you gave it a 6 out of 10. Yet you are still being like lambasted by people as being some ultra crazy feminist lady.
Yeah, I'm a feminist bimbo, and I'm also mid too. I don't know, that got thrown in there. And I'm like, that's okay.
You're mid now.
I'm mid now, but so is Margot Robbie. So if that's mid, I'll take it.
Yeah,
we're
I was
all
gonna say,
mid together. Cheers.
We're all mid together.
the fact that they, after the Barbie movie in 2023, they were saying Margot Robbie of all people was not attractive enough. It blew my mind.
Yeah.
PJ Report over on Rumble says everyone is mid. At
We
this
are
time.
all mid
We're all
together.
mid. Yes.
That's right. Listen, to somebody, look, there are 5s that are 10s to other people. There are 10s that are 5 to other people. There are ones that
Hey,
are.
I say this: besides Scarlett Johansson, who can you name off the top of your head that's more beautiful than her?
See, I don't even think Scarlett Johansson's like more beautiful. Like
Who? Name
she's
somebody.
okay.
Wait, more beautiful than Margot Robbie?
Yeah, name
Julia
somebody.
Roberts.
Nope, not anymore. She's
Okay, well,
old.
in her
She
prime,
aged-
you can
she
say that
aged
about Margot
okay,
Robbie
though.
in like 40
Yeah,
years
she-
from now.
She
Not
still
anymore.
looks great for her age, but she's not more beautiful than she is.
This is a
That's
good
what I'm
conversation.
saying. Name one fucking.
Wes
Okay,
is
in
girl.
their
voting.
prime, then, because you could say like Cameron Diaz was a babe, Julia Roberts was
yeah.
a babe in her prime,
Yeah.
We're not talking about people in their prime.
Jennifer
We're talking about
Aniston?
today.
Courtney Cox, I think was the most beautiful
In
of
their
friends.
prime.
Listen,
She was.
I know exactly who is more beautiful than
Cindy
Scarlett
Crawford. No, she's like 60 now.
Johansson. Today.
It's
I
like,
know.
here's my wife.
Okay.
Listen,
Yeah, it's correct. My wife. Yeah.
don't put words in my mouth, Labs. My wife is beautiful, and I don't need to put her on a pedestal to tell her that. But I will say this: have you seen the lady who was at the fashion show? Who there's a video of the lady coming down the fashion
No, Craig.
walkway. What? You haven't seen this lady?
Giselle? Is that
No,
who
no,
you're
no,
talking
no, no,
about?
no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no. She's and this was
Heidi
being passed.
Klum? I don't
Shut
know
up,
this.
Travis.
Okay, sorry.
This lady, she was walking. It was a video being passed around the internet the last couple of days where she's like in this fashion show, and she's kind of thick. She's a little thicker than like
Are you sure it was an actual biological woman? Also,
I'm positive. There's no
Okay,
way
we
you
have
could
to
fake
He
clarify
this.
did
that
his
now.
research.
There's
We gotta
no way
clarify
you can
this.
fake this, right? No way. But it was this lady being walked through, and she was kind of like a little bit thicker than, and not by a little bit thicker, like a lot thicker, right? Than your traditional fashion model.
Craig, we know you like Lizzo.
Don't you Lizzo me. Don't you.
Don't you put that
don't you.
evil on him.
But either way,
Can we find her
that lady
name?
is more beautiful than
See if I can
the
find
lady
her
you said.
name.
Johansson. I'm digging through Twitter right now trying to find it, and it's tough.
Hey, what'd you do on Twitter? Search down hot model hotter than Johansson. See what
No,
happens.
No, it's funny because I search fashion and like crazy shit like
no.
this pops up, and it's like this is not what I was looking for, but like this lady walking down.
It's
with the-
fashion in it.
A shark?
Is it Shark Week? Is that why?
Dark.
The music.
The people
Hey.
just are like, oh God, yes. Looks
Yeah.
great.
You guys are laughing now. In 2030, this is what we're all going to be wearing.
Oh hell no! I'm not wearing a shark hoodie.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Well, it is Shark Week. You know, I do know that. You guys know what Shark Week is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so maybe that's the tie-in right there. Who knows?
that's what I think.
Either way, look, the long and short of it is that's that lady. Whoever that lady is, she's hotter than Scarlett Johansson. Trav.
Those legs.
Now you know. Not the shark lady. Wicked. Not the shark lady. Oh my god. Anyways, look, we gotta
Is it
really good
this
show.
one, lady?
What are you putting a link in? Let's see. Hold on.
I mean, she's a little bigger. She's not like big.
No, not that lady. No, it's not a plus size model. No.
Okay.
She's got
Just not like anorexic. Like
right.
most of
She's
them.
got
Okay,
curves in all the right
okay.
places. Right.
I feel like some people get confused between like thick and overweight.
Yeah. Well, that one wasn't. She wasn't like real big.
Like super overweight, but just a little thick.
Right.
Thicker. Like
Right.
double thick.
Yeah. And the the modeling industry calls fat like a size
Size
5.
five.
Yeah. 1 through 4 is skinny.
Yeah,
so-
Wicked and I are considered fat at this point for the
We're huge.
fashion industry.
And
we
yes, I
are,
do.
we are
I
actually
do.
chunky.
I do know
Yeah.
women's clothes sizes. Yes.
We're also too short.
Yeah,
We're short.
I'm
we're
a
short
little
and
bit
round.
taller than Wicked, just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
We compared in Florida. I was like,
You did.
Congratulations.
hey man, let me have this one.
It's funny because I Googled supermodels and I haven't seen, besides maybe that Delevingne girl, like a recent, like real big model. Back in the day, like if you look at the names that come up when you I'll name some of them. they're all from like when we were growing up.
Well, it's because we're not into that space. I've never really been into that space right now, but at the same time, like I think modeling is we should be having this conversation with Adam, by the way, who was a former male model.
The former model,
right? But I think modeling now is just as big as it's ever been, because there's that show though, with the Tara Banks show, the
America's Next Top Model.
Yeah, that's been on forever, right?
Is it still live? I watched it when I was a kid.
I think it's on like Bravo or some third
Yeah, it
rate
moves
channel,
around,
something
didn't
like
it?
that.
A bunch.
Right. Anyways, well, look, we can talk modeling all day long. No, we couldn't. But we're gonna have a good show today. We got all sorts of stuff to talk about, including Sinead O'Connor dying and the relevance of Sinead O'Connor. We are going to talk the Snow White remake later on today.
That's Wicked's expertise right there too.
Our NickMercs is at it again, saying something that we all want to say, as well as some new stuff from Nintendo and Nickelodeon, and all sorts of good stuff coming up in the gaming space, which is good. We have a Rumble.
Nickelodeon
yes, Travis.
and gaming.
What's that?
Nickelodeon and gaming.
Yeah. We're going to talk about something that they announced today.
Fascinating.
Oh yes,
Cool.
indeed.
Ew, spicy.
We do have a Rumble account over at rumble.com/side scrolls. Make sure you guys hit the follow button, as we are closing it on 2,500 followers over there. Make sure you guys join us. It is all organic, a channel that launched after the launch of this show, which means you only want to be there to watch the podcast, which is great, and all the other fun stuff that we have going on. So go and do that. Appreciate you guys popping in, hitting the follow button over there. And we do have an Instagram, right, Blabs?
Right, yeah, I've been posting memes on there once a day. We passed 350 the other day, so we're big. We're getting there, guys. We're over 300, so that's awesome.
Love that.
Give us a follow.
Later today, I'll be returning to Yoshi's Island. If Wicked, you like retro games, you know Yoshi's Island?
I love Yoshi's Island. That's
Yeah.
from I played that when it was new on my N64.
I loved it too when I started playing it a month ago. And I'm today I know I say this all the time. Today actually may be the day. I'm on level 6. I'm on the final level, and I had to 100% the entire game. And it has been painstaking to the point, but either way, today is the day. So I need everybody there to watch the finale of Yoshi's Island, as today literally may be the day, which is very, very exciting. So we got that. And we also have the StreamYard affiliate link down below. If you guys are thinking about getting into podcasting, make sure you guys use that StreamYard affiliate link down below. You can do all sorts of great things like this. I can pop Travis out and say, "Get out of here, Travis," and I can pop out, or I can bring him back and say, "Hey, Travis, how's it going?" And you can do all sorts of fun things like that. So it's a great podcasting program. I encourage anybody to use it if you guys are thinking about getting into the podcasting or just streaming space. It's a great program to use. You can use it. It's free. There's a free program, and you got to use our link down below. So consider doing that. Appreciate that.
Oh yeah, the chat's correcting me. I'm thinking of Yoshi's Story, not Yoshi's Island.
Oh, Yoshi's Story.
I thought Yoshi's Island was N64. Hold on, now I gotta look it up.
Story was,
Googling.
yeah, Yoshi's Story was 64. And Yoshi's Island was Super Nintendo. So I'm on the Super Nintendo one. Crazy T came in with 100 bits, says someone's going to hard reset. I don't think that's going to happen, because there is no hard reset. There's level resets, but no hard resets on Yoshi's Island. I'm not replaying that whole fucking game. Goji Berry came in.
Finish this.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm ready to move on. Goji Berry came in with the $5. Says so much hotness. This episode might as well be walking on the sun. Let's go.
I mean, I know I'm attractive, but we don't need to talk about it every day.
Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him right there. Look at that guy.
Look at that pizza.
Woo. Woo. Man.
Hot
All right,
and ready.
What's that?
It's hot and ready.
Is that your nickname, Trav?
Oh,
That was when he was trying to be a stripper on the corners. That was his name, actually.
Yes. This is one job I didn't have, but
Oh my gosh, hot and ready it is. Hey, speaking of hot and ready, it's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everybody in the world's favorite segment. It's time for hard news.
I'm just saying. But I think we should get like a little Adam picture that whenever he says the hard news, it just shows up on screen, just disappears, just slides right off again.
No.
Okay.
No.
You get all the Adam you want on Wednesdays. That's good. Which is
Gone.
good. Do you guys remember the meme many years ago, many moons ago, when you were just wee lads, probably preteens, my young ladies here, of the Turtle Kid? Do you remember the Turtle Kid? I like turtles. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Turtle.
Yep.
That one?
Do you remember?
No.
No.
That's a movie.
Go ahead, Wade.
Yeah.
You're thinking of the Master of Disguise with
Yeah.
Dana Carvey.
No, I'm thinking of this kid right here, which this should.
Yeah.
Did you ever see this, Blabs?
What is this?
Oh
he
my
okay?
God, Blabs is like a fucking like
he
unborn
albino?
baby.
Mm-mm-mm.
Maybe if you play it, I'll remember it.
Blabs, you know what? I'm not. I was pro-life,
So
but I'm gonna have to
disappointed in me.
abort you.
Oh
Oh,
no!
okay.
Oh no!
What? Did you say abort me?
Oh,
I've been rejected by Travis, the gay man. How much lower can I go?
oh my God! Travis literally just changed his political leanings right now based on something that you said, Blabs. Oh my God! All right, here we go. So, this guy, the zombie kid, was a meme probably, I don't know, 15, 16, 17 years ago. Early, like, I'd say late 2010s. So, Blabs, you were probably like 10 or 11 when this came out. So,
older.
this was massive. Check this out.
Back here live at the Waterfront Village with my friend, the zombie, Jonathan. You're looking good. Jonathan just got an awesome face paint job. What do you think?
I like turtles.
All right. You're great, zombie. And good times here at the Waterfront Village.
So the reporter goes up, asks him. It's this like 8, 9-year-old kid delivers this weird thing, and so she just kind of stumbles back.
The reporter's reaction.
Good job,
is
kid.
The best part about it, because what do you say to kids who say weird shit and you're on TV?
Just brilliant. I mean,
I bet you she
I
did
kind
not.
of remember it.
She did not talk to that kid one iota before that went live. Guaranteed.
No.
He was the original corn kid. You know how that corn kid went viral a couple months ago? He's the original one.
Listen, so we had the kid here, and guess what, ladies and gentlemen?
He's our new
We have
guest. Bring him on.
Photo.
No, I'm sorry.
He is back. in a brilliant tie-in to the new Ninja Turtles movie. They have brought back the Turtles kid.
That's some hellified marketing, I'll tell you.
Brilliant stuff. Let's check this out.
back here live. We just got out of a screening for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, and I'm with my friend, the zombie, Jonathan. Looking good. Jonathan just got an awesome face paint job. What'd you think of the movie?
I like turtles.
All right, you're a great zombie. Good times here at Teenage.
So it's a brilliant kind of
reenactment.
tie-in.
Is
Yeah,
it the same reporter?
it is the same reporter, which is so amazing.
Her voice sounded the same, yeah.
Now they dressed her up in April O'Neil outfit, which is pretty cool. I do like that, and but they I don't know, like he did kind of overact it, but at the same time, I thought it was brilliant. I love.
Good.
I mean, he has been replaying that moment in his head for 20 years.
We have to make this picture
you know.
perfect.
I wonder how they got a hold of this kid, this guy, because that's.
I don't like. Do they have the info or something after that
You know,
interview? Or...
Looking for
I
zombie
interviewed,
boy. Please call.
That was way back in the day when your video went viral. Someone would come and scoop you up and monetize it for you, and MCN back in the day. So that's probably how they got a hold of him. I would be my guess.
I mean, it's Hollywood. I'm sure somebody knew somebody, right? But I will say this: they're doing a brilliant job of marketing that movie. Yesterday, we talked about the Ninja Turtle controllers that are going to be released, the special limited edition, the 404 controllers, which I mean, I don't know. I think they're doing a really good job of marketing for that movie. Now, will it be any good? I don't know, but I think I'm impressed. I'm impressed by the marketing attached to it. So, do you guys recall any, like, when it comes to marketing of movies? is there any like distinct marketing that you guys remember that made you go like, okay, like I'm intrigued to see that? Because obviously
Does it
marketing goes a
have
long
to
way.
be movies?
Yeah, anything.
You guys remember? Well, Craig, you'll remember at least the Payday commercial where the elephant stole the Payday truck on the Super Bowl.
No.
It was like a high-speed chase. Police are chasing this car, and then the truck stops. And then an elephant gets out. He stole the
No.
Payday truck.
No, I do not know. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'll
But
find it.
I already got it because I am a master at Googling. Here we are. We're ready to go. This is the Payday commercial. So it's a high-speed chase. This may be the condensed version.
Can't get enough peanuts.
I remember this.
This wasn't the Super
Yeah.
Bowl one, but this was a later one.
I
that
love
they did.
paydays. They're yummy.
Because after it was so popular, they kind of stuck with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Speaking of like Super Bowl stuff like that, do you remember the Britney Spears Pepsi commercials? I mean, I already had liked Pepsi, but that was great marketing. And I still, looking back, like heard like they did the one commercial where it was through different generations, like 60s, 70s, and it was great. Marketing used to be good, especially for little things like that. Now it's
speaking
Most
of Britney
the Super
and
Bowl commercials were usually really fun up until recently, but a lot of those commercials are really great. Even like Budweiser with the Clydesdales, those are always fun.
Yeah, this one and
this one was good, but the better one with Britney and Pepsi was the one where she was with Beyonce, Pink, Enrico, and the Coliseum.
You mean Enrique?
Oh yeah, I remember that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did great. Someone interviewed her once and it was really funny. They were like, "So, what's your favorite Pepsi?" She's like, "My favorite Pepsi. Pepsi's Pepsi." So she said that right to the interviewer, and they're like, "Well, no, like diet or she's like just regular Pepsi." She was like,
Pepsi's
blown away by that question.
It's funny. Just on a total side note, did you see the video of Britney Spears just kind of like doing some weird dance?
Yeah, she's been doing that a lot on.
Listen, I feel bad for Britney. I grew up loving Britney. I'll admit that. I was fully the.
Well, you want them to leave Britney alone, people?
Well, no. I mean, I kind of feel bad because back then I was like, "Damn, she's crazy." And then like when you get the details, like that they were using her kids against her, and you feel really bad now that I'm an adult. But when I was young, I knew all the dances to like all of her videos. I was fully in it. I loved Britney. And it's really sad. I'm gonna get her book when it comes out. I'm pretty excited.
Is she writing a book?
Yeah, it's gonna be out in October, I think. But her Instagram kind of is like an episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's kind of
airy.
Yeah, it's strange. A lot of the stuff is airy, and it's like, are you okay? Like, you're probably not. I mean, you were like, a lot's happened to her.
She just lost her kids. And if you think about everything in the grand scheme of things and not just what's going on right now, she's been harassed and hounded her whole life by everybody, taken advantage of by the people she trusted most. Like, I'd be acting weird too. Like, who you gonna trust?
She was only 15 when she first came. Like the Baby One More Time video where she was super sexualized. Her parents signed off on that. She was 15.
So you pay people, you think you trust them, you find out you can't. And then you think you trust your parents, then you find out you can't. You think you trust your siblings, you find out you can't. What the fuck? Then your kids move out.
Like another Disney child
terrible
gone wrong, basically.
And now one of her kids is saying bad things about her online. So like what? Like I don't blame her for acting strange. I'd act strange fucking too.
Yeah, I'd act strange if I decided to marry someone like Kevin Federline. Jeez. That dude.
And he has her kids now.
Yeah, and her money.
Think about that. Oh, yeah. Did you see how much she pays him monthly for not only child support, but still spousal support, which is insane?
It's nuts. Yeah.
Well, look, we can do a Britney Spears episode, I'm sure. Anytime.
Travis will be like, yes.
But I will say this. She apparently is batshit insane.
Yeah,
so.
I know a lot of 90s trivia.
I feel bad for her and Amanda Bynes.
Her too. But the crazy thing about her is she was held up on a pedestal for a long time about how not to fall into the trap of the teenage child fame. And then she started hanging out with Paris Hilton one day and then got a cocaine charge, and that was that. Went crazy.
Yeah.
As Sal says, that's just Hollywood, unfortunate. Yep, it's true. Hollywood has that effect on people, which is crazy. And I think at the end of the day, a lot of these child stars that you see that end up, just totally breaking. Ultimately, it's their parents, right?
Oh, yeah.
Comes down to bad parenting.
Well,
But-
and if you think about it, had everything happened to her that happened to her besides her parents taking advantage of her, she would still be okay because she would have a place to go.
Well, I can tell you one thing for sure. That has not been the case for the zombie kid. There you go. Let's move on to our next story. I mentioned Nickelodeon and their gaming side of things. They made a Smash Brothers kind of clone a while back. Did you guys ever see that? It was called Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Did you guys know that?
No.
No.
Well, they announced a sequel to it, and it's Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. Oddly enough, what a great, clever name!
Mhm.
But it features all like the Nickelodeon characters, and looks actually like kind of fun. So this is the first one. So if you like Smash, it's cool. But they're introducing is this Squidward? Is that his name? Squidward?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Squidward is going to be in this one as well as Jimmy Neutron. But but I don't know. I think this is like a really fun idea, and they got all the memes in it and everything, which is great.
Is this an actual video game or like a mobile game?
This is an actual video game.
Oh.
An actual video game. That
Really?
is.
I never watched Nickelodeon as a kid. I didn't have it.
I
so
did.
I know nothing.
Anybody remember? Did they have any Nickelodeon games back in the day? I don't remember any.
I used to play some on the computer, like at nick.com. Like there was this SpongeBob Krabby Patty thing that I used to play, stuff like that. But I don't remember anything for like consoles or anything. Just like,
it's just
on their website.
strange to me that
Oh my god, the Wild Thornberries!
They've never
That was
gotten
the one
the
video
games.
game I used to play.
So
Like, I could see them. They should have partnered with Nintendo 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
well, this is it's built around more or less being like kind of a Smash clone, right? Obviously, Smash has been huge, so they've gone in and they've turned this into a essentially a fighting game with all the Nickelodeon characters. And if you look at the lineup, it's actually it's some really cool characters in there. You got SpongeBob, the Ninja Turtle characters, Jimmy Neutron, the Thornberries, and there are people in here that I don't know. This is like 10 years after my main Nickelodeon consumption, right? But I imagine you guys probably know pretty much every character in this game, or at least have an idea of who they are. But I don't know, it looks interesting, and there have been many Smash Brother kind of clones over the years. There's the PlayStation All-Stars mashup from a few years ago. But you guys said you never even heard about this game.
No, maybe I seen it and I thought I might have thought what Blab said, like maybe that it was just a mobile game. Is this on Nintendo? Is it on the Switch?
It's going to
Or
be on
what?
all consoles later this
All
year.
consoles. Oh, I would actually get that. That looks interesting. I'll give it a try.
Had this come out when SpongeBob was huge, they'd have sold so many fucking copies of this game.
Wasn't SpongeBob still huge? It's just always for
I
the
mean,
next generation.
it is, but when it was like in its peak is what.
Yeah, I feel like when it first came out, like when I was young, was peak for it. It's still holding up, but yeah.
GK says in the first one, it says they better add voice acting. That killed it before. And Lil Yama says they added voices after like 3 months. So good idea in theory, but just kind of waited on the delivery.
Makes me wonder, could they not get the actors in there, or was
There
it
was a
some
strike.
licensing thing or something?
Another strike.
How strange that the voice is the easiest fucking thing is like the thing that takes 3 fucking months,
Mhm.
Dude came in with a $5 Rumble rant over on Rumble. Says both Craig and Trav want to disown Blabs for not knowing internet lore. Craig for her not knowing Guile's theme, and Trav for not knowing I like turtles. I feel that pain.
Blabs clearly doesn't like turtles.
Listen, I am
Hey.
the generation of Charlie Bit Me.
It wasn't just the I like turtles. It's the fact
That
that
really hurt,
if
Charlie.
she spends her day online, and that's part of her job, okay? And
I
she's never
unplug a
seen
lot.
the Turtle Kid. Are you
Why
kidding
would I
me?
pay attention to a dude dressed up like freaking like that? I'll be like, I probably keep scrolling. I'll be like, what was that boo?
And
What's
that's
that
why,
go?
and that's how you miss the internet gold, Blabs.
Nah, that's not even that good. The Charlie
See,
Bit Me is 10 times better.
Sometimes when you're
let it go,
roaming
Travis.
around in the wild field of the World Wide Web, you have to see the hole and just dive into it instead of.
I don't want to
tripping
get into the
it.
rabbit hole.
It's a 17-second rabbit hole. It's not like it's that.
That's like 17 seconds too long. I can only do 5 max.
I
5
would
max.
rather be watching the Charlie Bit Me video.
She's like, no, I'll end up getting beheaded by the Queen of Hearts.
Yeah. They know she's already after me.
Dude also came in with the $5 Rumble Rent. Thank you, dude. Appreciate that. Says TMNT also had a Smash clone on the PlayStation 2 and Wii called Smash Up. It was okay. Yeah, I do recall that. Back in the day. There's been several Smash clones that had never quite been able to kind of capture the magic of Smash Brothers. All right, let's move on to our next story here, which, like, you guys know I'm a big fan of like Zelda, or at least I've enjoyed Zelda games over the years.
You like Zelda?
Yeah, I like Zelda. I like the classic overhead Zelda. It's great. What about you, Wicked? Do you like the old Zelda games, or just any Zelda games?
I didn't grow up playing them, but I've started playing them on the Switch. That was one I liked. For back in the day, I was more Super Mario and Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong's my favorite out of all Nintendo. But yeah, I'm starting with Majora's Mask. I actually haven't played in a bit, but I did start playing that, and I'm enjoying it.
Wait, when you say you're starting with Majora's Mask, that's the first Zelda game you're playing?
Yeah, I've seen people play them, like watched, but I've never actually sat down and played a Zelda game myself.
Yeah,
I know.
I apologize, but
don't start with what should I start with
first.
then?
No,
don't do
No?
that. Don't do that.
Just because the time mechanic in that one, it's gonna make you never want to play Zelda again.
Yeah,
Really?
Majora's Mask is unlike any other Zelda game.
I've played 80% of Zelda games, and I quit Majora's Mask, and
Did you?
I love Zelda. Yes,
Yeah.
I
All
quit.
right, I'll switch.
Couldn't
I'll
do
play
it.
something else.
I suggest. It depends. Do you want a 3D Zelda or a 2D Zelda?
It doesn't matter. Whatever you could give, whatever you think is the best, and I'll take your
What do you
recommendation.
think? Super
I think-
Nintendo?
Yeah, I think you start with Link to the Past.
Yeah.
Link to the Past. Okay,
Yeah.
I think I have that on the Switch.
You
so.
do. Yeah, if
I
you
do?
have the
Okay.
Switch Online, then you have.
I do.
have
You
it,
do?
yeah.
Okay.
He's like, you do. He's like, I know for a fact that you have it.
I've been to your house. I know what you got.
For me, next would be Ocarina, or Ocarina, or however the fuck you guys
Ocarina?
say it. Yeah, that.
that was a popular one that people were telling me to play too. So, all right, I'll get on it.
I
So
wouldn't do that one first though, just because it would be good to learn some of the other background stuff. You know what I mean?
So I think Ocarina of Time was a really great game 25 years ago, right? But today it doesn't hold up as well. But just to kind of get why it's a very big nostalgic game. There's a lot of nostalgia attached to it. And for me today, as somebody who grew up with it, I understand that. But I went back and played it recently. It's like a 6 out of 10, right? It's okay. But I know most people are like, it's a 10 out of 10, but they haven't played it recently. It doesn't hold up like a modern game. Anyways, the point is that there are now 2 new Zelda games that you get a chance, or new to you to play, that are available to you on your Switch, because Nintendo announced they are bringing Zelda Oracle of Ages and Zelda Oracle of Seasons, these 2 Game Boy color games, to the Switch. Which, have y'all heard of these games before?
Yes, they're
Probably-
great games.
Probably not Game Boy. I actually didn't have a Game Boy growing up. I used to play with my cousins. I didn't have one.
Yeah,
So-
these came out in the early 90s.
Yeah, so these are
Well, let me look it up.
probably mid 90s, right? But these games, what's really interesting about these games is that they were released at the exact same time. They're classic, like overhead Zelda games. But what's interesting about them is that they were released at the same time, and you had to play both of them to get the true ending between this singular adventure.
It's actually 2001.
Okay, so there you go. Yeah, I didn't think it was that in the 90s, because, but this is like one game, Ages, focuses on like past and present, and Seasons focuses on obviously the seasons of the game and controlling spring and fall and summer and winter and all that stuff. So they're really fun games, really fun games, and it was really unique for when they were released. And I'd be interested to go back and kind of see them again and play them again to see if they hold up, because in my mind, I think the overhead Zelda games hold up a lot better than like 3D games, mainly because like you kind of know what you're getting into when you see it. Like the pixel art, I think, holds up better than a lot of like poor 3D, like in the case of Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask. But But yeah, it's just kind of interesting. This was kind of dropped on us last night by Nintendo, and now you can play them right now on your Switch if you have the Switch Online.
I just had a thought about that. Actually, the time mechanic and the season mechanics are quite similar to Majora's Mask, but in Majora's Mask, they aren't quite such a tool. They're just tedious when you're playing it. That's what it literally was like work playing it. But anyway, I just saw that correlation while you were talking about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Blabs, this would be a fun. This is not a game that we could play on like Blabs Versus at all, because these are like adventures. It takes 8 to 10 hours to beat these games, right? Each. But I do think that if you have a Switch, it's worth giving these a go. And Wicked, I actually think these would actually be, I wouldn't say these are considered the better Zelda games, but it doesn't mean they're not really good Zelda games, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I like to do retro night once in a while on my kick, so we'll do some Zelda.
Yeah, just I don't know, how long do you usually play for?
Just 3 hours each stream, so
you could dig into the game pretty strong if you go 3 hours. You could dig into it pretty good, for sure. But like I said, they're kind of a bundle. It's one of those, as a kid, you had to buy one for $30 and then you had to buy another one for $30. And it was kind of brilliant marketing at the time, but it's cool that they're available now. So anyways, yeah.
And they took a page right out of the Pokemon book. You make one that leads to the other. You're selling the others right away,
Yeah, definitely. 100%. All right. Let's move on to our lead story. But first, let's read the super chat from Matthew, who came in, says, play Wind Waker. It's the best Zelda game. Do you know Wind Waker?
I actually seen gameplay of that on the Wii U. Is that when it came out? It came out on the Wii U, right? I had friends that were so mad at me for not playing it. They were obsessed with Zelda, had Zelda tattoos and everything. They're like, how do you not play it? I'm like, I don't know. I'll get to it. I've seen a lot of gameplay, just haven't played myself. Right.
It initially came out on the GameCube, and then they made a remake of it on the Wii U.
Okay.
So it was pretty good.
I still have my Wii U.
Me too.
So do I, actually.
Me too. I think we're the only 4 that have a Wii U's left in the world, which is great.
We must combine them together, just like the Xbox controllers.
Well, you know what's funny? My handheld part of it, the charger part broke, and it's cost just as much to replace the whole system as it is to replace that thing.
What? So, you mean you can't tell me you can't find a cord on eBay and be like, plug it in?
No, it's the inside part of it.
That was a wonderful plug noise, Blabs.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I could probably take it apart and fix it. I'm just lazy. But...
All right, you want to get to our lead story? I think we should.
Sure.
Okay. So we've known about NickMercs for a while. He's obviously a big streamer, big in Call of Duty. He had the big protect kids thing that happened 6 weeks, a month ago, whatever it was, or 2 months ago, and there was big uproar and all that, and somehow protect all kids or protect children became like a political thing, which is like fascinating to watch. And he's been, just like everything, there's ebbs and flows of the internet and of the news cycles, and he was really hot for a few weeks and saw tremendous support. And then, things kind of return back to normal, which always happens. But that doesn't mean he's back down from things. He went off on cancel culture last night, or I guess yesterday on a stream, and Blabs brought this to us, and I thought we'd watch this and have a little discussion about NickMercs as a whole, because, let's just see what he has to say.
We're not going to get canceled, man. We held a fucking barbecue for 10,000 people in peak COVID. You think me talking about the COVID vaccine on stream is going to get us canceled? Can we ante up in here a little bit? Stop being pussies, bro. Let's go. Ante up. Fuck cancel culture, man. Tell them all to suck our dick collectively. Suck our fucking cock. We don't care about you. We don't care what you think. We don't care what you say. Okay? We speak our mind, we speak our piece, and we move forward, man. That's it. You want to come for us, you want to cancel us, we don't care. That's all you got to do is just not care. I don't care. Okay? I don't give a fuck what I don't care what it is, man. Eat a dick.
So there you go. Big
He's
message.
very adamant
Just
on
F
about
off.
people eating dicks.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
he's-
That was my takeaway from that whole.
He's
spiel.
yeah, is about all the blowjobs apparently. Do you guys remember I sent a video in our group Twitter the other day? Let me find it. I just loved what this guy said. If you guys watched it at all,
Oh, is that what you said like on the weekend?
yeah,
Oh,
and
boy.
it kind of pertains to this.
Why do we talk so much?
Yeah, I don't recall what you're talking about, but see if you can put it in the private chat if you can. But so I think it's amazing that he can come out and say something like this and just say like, hey, how about you just fuck off? Like that's really kind of what it comes down to. It's just kind of fuck off. You know, like all you guys thinking you can kind of come cancel me, go fuck off, and just ignore the shit and move on, right? And that's almost exactly what's happened in this process. You know, he stood his ground. He said fuck off. He didn't apologize, and all of a sudden, guess what? You know, he's stronger than ever. And you know, I think what he's saying there is what a lot of people have felt. And even though he wasn't super articulate with it, that's almost exactly how people wanted to say it. Just fuck off, you know?
Yeah, I think we should watch this. I think everybody should watch it in the world, to be honest. But
what's that?
Oh, the short I
Labs
just posted in the
that.
private chat. It's what Travis said over the weekend.
Okay, yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's go and watch this. Actually, I had this queued up, and this goes back to here we go. Let me see if I got this. This goes back to kind of having that like F off mentality. Here you go, Trav. Let's go and watch this.
Immediately,
Let me actually refresh it because I want to make sure we hear the whole thing.
I made a video saying that I enjoyed Joe Rogan's podcast. Immediately, I lost 15,000 followers. And I got all these hate comments about, oh, you love guns. I was like, no, I like his podcast. It's, oh, you're a right wing. I'm like, I don't even understand American politics. I just like his podcast. And then one of my clients reached out and said, Vin, take that video down. We can't be seen to be working with someone like you if you're posting this content, especially on LinkedIn. We take it down. I was like, I think it's easier for us not to work together. You're changing who I am. You're making me lie to everyone to pretend to be something that I'm absolutely not. And I see this all the time. People are so afraid of what other people think that they will do whatever other people want, and those people don't care about you and they'll forget about you anyway. If you try to please everyone, you will end up pleasing no one. The person willing to state the truth and be themselves, very powerful. Whereas the person that allows every other person to dictate what to do does not have power.
Interesting.
Spot on.
Yeah.
For sure.
It shows like when people bend the knee, like these bigger companies that are like Disney, for instance, they bend the knee to certain things, but it's still not enough. These people want more. They're still going to complain. So that's why you just don't do it. Just do what you're going to do. Don't cancel people because they said one thing on the internet that you disagree with. It's these people are never going to be happy. He's right. You're not going to please anyone because even when you do what they want, they're going to find something else to complain about in 5 more minutes.
When you let people hold you to a crazy standard, that's your standard for now on. And you gotta hold to it forever. So don't make a mistake because it'll be your turn next.
I think that's the thing that people fail to realize is that everybody who points a finger at somebody, you know, they're the old saying is you point one finger, you got three pointing right back at you, right? If you know, so that's the thing. There's this impossible standard. Like this guy couldn't watch the Joe Rogan podcast. He couldn't say he liked it, you know? Otherwise people would say, we don't want to work with you because you like the Joe Rogan podcast publicly.
Well, and think about this. What if he's not an American? What if he's not involved in our politics? You know what I'm saying? So we impose that on other people who may not even care or know about it.
Well, it's also an extent to also all the other guests who have been on Joe Rogan's podcast. Hasn't like freaking Tony Stark, Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. hasn't even been on the podcast before. So like all those people are just canceled right away because they can't be associated either. So like if you don't want to work with that guy, that means you can't work with anybody else associated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And I do mean the metaphorical we as a society, not we.
Mm-hmm.
By the way.
Right. But going back to, I mean, obviously this sentiment is echoed. You know, I think everybody here, we go back to the idea of, you know, you can think what you want, just don't tell us how we should feel, you know, type of thing. And the idea of NickMercs coming out and just being like, hey, like, you come for me, go fuck off. I think it was like refreshing. Now,
Mhm.
NickMercs as a whole, we were talking about this before the show, and I think it's a really good conversation to have. Labs, you were saying that NickMercs is no angel himself.
No, he's not. Even Muzz just said in the chat he helped get 8 Thoughts channel deleted just because he didn't like a thumbnail. So in that sense, that is cancel culture itself. Yet he now being on the other end of it, he doesn't like anymore. It's a bit hypocritical. So if you like, you should always be against cancel culture, no matter if you're on one end of it or not. You should always be against it. And I mean, this guy went for like was pro BLM. He worked with Activision, who has all those sexual assault issues going on. That lady killed herself with all that sexual assault, and he had no problem with that.
I'm not familiar with that story. What are you talking about? With that?
The sexual assault scandals in Activision. There was a lot of women being sexually harassed in there, and it was all silenced until recently, in like the last year or so, 2 years.
That's why Activision had a canceling recently. It's funny, it didn't get very much press at all, but
yeah, it was all hush hush.
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah, right. So if you have that and you're working with that company, shouldn't you say something about it, right?
Exactly.
It goes back to the same reason why I think LeBron James is a fucking phony, right? Like the guy over here is taking all these stands for whatever social justice that he feel will help his brand, but is totally silent when it comes to things happening over in China, right? And people who are helping manufacture shoes, right? And all the bullshit that's happening over there, right? So it's the same thing. I've talked about this for years. If there's a bar, the bar should be there for everybody. If you're gonna,
and that's what I meant by don't set a fucking crazy bar. I'm not gonna say their name, but some people do that, set a crazy bar, and I remember saying it'll happen to you one day, and it's going to, mark my words. I bet people money on it, so I'm gonna make some cash. But
yeah, it's amazing to see that just NickMercs, more or less, the way I read this is like, look, I think he actually says this in here. I want to kind of rewatch this one more time, because he says something in here that I think in between eating dicks and cocks and all the stuff that he says.
Before you do this, is the timestamp that I chose okay for that? I put NickMercs likes blowjobs.
No, let's go change that a little
Figured
bit.
I'd ask.
Of course, that's what you wrote, Travis.
Like that really goes against the idea of like, we love NickMercs. We agree with NickMercs, or NickMercs makes us proud. Go eat those dicks.
Canceled.
Yeah, here we go. Let's listen to this one more time.
Scene on stream is going to get us canceled. Can we ante up in here a little bit? Stop being pussies, bro.
I think this is actually like just this statement right here by itself. Can we ante up? Really is what he's saying. Like, can we just be fucking adults here for a minute? Right? Can we just be
I've
adults?
never heard that sentence before either. Ante up.
Yeah, it means push your chips to the table.
It means grow some balls, basically. It's one of them things. It's a poker term.
Right. Oh, that's why, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of them things like when we live in this is what I told Rich. I wasn't going to be offended by Melanie's joke, right? And you guys, you may not get that reference, Wicked. I'm sorry. But, unless somebody's physically hurting me, I don't care. It's like your rights are your rights, but until they infringe on my rights, you saying mean things to me, it does not affect me unless I let it affect me, right? And like he was saying, well, that incites violence. No, crazy people are going to do crazy things regardless if somebody says something to them. Okay, they're crazy.
Right. Welcome to the world.
He's very bothered by this, though, Nick, and it is funny because he's canceled people before, and it doesn't even seem like it's that big of a deal. I get people like, I'm nowhere near as big as NickMercs, and when people say stuff to me, Travis is right. I don't let it bother me, especially when it's not true. Like if someone would came up to me and was like, "You're so ugly," I'd be like, "Well, now I obviously am gonna go cry for an hour." Like, no, I don't care. You just gotta let it roll off. And it's funny how bothered he is. He got very tough in that little thing there, like, ante up, stop, don't don't cancel people unless
Well,
it's me doing the canceling. Like,
This
Yeah.
very much reminds me of, and if you haven't followed politics for a while, and this is just an example, we're not getting into politics, but those people who are very anti-gay, and then they were found out to be like in airport restrooms tapping guys' foots for blowjobs. You know,
Right.
those senators that got caught doing that, or they were seen getting off a plane with their rent boy. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Who went on their their rent boy that he paid to go on vacation with him. Yeah, he's your assistant. So you know what I'm saying? And so it's very much like that. They're until it's a personal issue, they you know, until it's their family member, they don't care. But like Dick Cheney, for example, was very anti-gay, and then his daughter came out as gay, and then he's pro-gay. Right. So when it affects you, then your opinion and the way you look at it changes.
Well, to point it out, Ice Cold _ in the chat on YouTube side said that having kids changes you. And in the original stance that, you know, Nick said after saying leave kids alone, he was like, I have a kid now. That's my little boy back there. I gotta go look out for him. So yeah, in a sense, kids obviously do change you. So maybe he doesn't think like he does back then, you know? So we gotta, you know, pointing and saying, yeah, you're a hypocrite, but maybe you've just changed your mind and you're like, you don't like what you did. You regret your actions in the past, you know?
Yeah. I would say that big of a thing happening would change your perspective on things for sure. Now, if that is the case, he owes some people some apologies, does he not?
Is he going to own up to it and be like, yeah, I was a shithead back then. I'm sorry for canceling your channel because of with thumbnails.
NickMercs apology tour.
Right. Yeah. You're going to tell people to grow balls, Annie up. Grow balls and Annie up.
Exactly.
Yeah,
very
put your money where your mouth is. Because remember, like Activision was paying him and not anymore. Now he's like, fuck cancel culture after he doesn't get the money.
Yeah, I'm not getting that check anymore. So I'm on the other side.
Okay, so let's talk about this though, because I want to continue watching this and then I want to kind of provide another perspective for you. But let's go continue on this.
A little bit, you know? Stop being pussies, bro. Let's go. Annie up. Fuck cancel culture, man. Tell them all to suck our dick collectively. You know? Suck our fucking cock. We don't care about you. We don't care what you think. We don't care what you say. Okay? We speak our mind, we speak our piece, and we move forward, man. That's it. You want to come for us, you want to cancel us, we don't care. That's all you gotta do is just not care.
So you guys say he's kind of leaning into it too much? Is that kind of the idea?
He's Italian too, so he's probably he got bothered and he's very passionate about it. And I get it, he's bothered, but just the fact that he's done stuff like this himself, he should own up to it a little bit. It's hypocritical.
Exactly.
But I look at that and it's just like he's extremely bothered and he's heated over it, and he's probably thinking about it even off stream and just like kind of like frothing at the mouth over it. That's what I'm seeing.
You can't get so mad about it and not mention it if you've done it before.
Exactly.
Because that makes you
during that. Yeah, during that,
Well,
he'd be like, listen, I've made mistakes before too. Let's all. If we talk about owning up, then he should have owned up at least a little statement on it. Something
he could have used himself as an example doing it and say, and that was wrong. You know what I'm saying?
So let me kind of provide a few thoughts to all that, right? Yes, maybe he has said those things, but we just don't have a clip of those things.
But he's talking about it now.
Right. Now, I think just as somebody who has seen, we've seen the rise of this, cancel culture, the change in culture over the last, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I think that, and obviously he had a pretty, people came after him. Activision, they canceled their business relationship with him. I think that is him just kind of getting to a tipping point and having enough. At a certain point, you can only smile and go, yeah, okay, for so long until you go like, hey, motherfuckers, it's time to stand up. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Like at a certain point, you just got to stand up and puff out your chest and be like, nah, man, this ain't going to fly. So, I understand the idea of you guys are saying he canceled these other people. I don't necessarily see what he did as canceling other people, right? I think it's more him wielding the power. Like those people didn't necessarily say something that he didn't agree with, that he that ultimately led to him damaging a business relationship or their career or anything like that. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just talking from the outside. But what I do think he did was he wielded power that he had to make something happen that probably couldn't have happened if he didn't have that power.
Would you say wield or abused? Because I would say abused. And then I get to this
I think it
point,
depends.
and I get to this point where then I question his morality about this ante up and grow some balls and all that shit. If it only matters when it affects him, because it didn't matter before. He only got to the breaking point when it affected him.
Right. Of course.
So the morality of granted, he, like I said, he may have changed his mind due to the situation, but that's why you need to address what you've done that may be construed in that way. Why you're getting so mad, because otherwise people are going to make this association.
It pointed out in the chat. He says that it said that he got a channel deleted. Right.
Yeah,
now,
that's the one we were talking about.
Right. So what channel was that he got deleted? Like
what's called?
Was it a large channel? Was it like a channel with 100 subscribers to it? Like there's a lot of questions. And was the channel built around entirely using his content? Like there's a lot of other layers to the question. And did he just get it deleted because of, because he didn't like the thumbnails on it? Right. Like, yeah, there's this video of him saying, we got this channel deleted. Right. Okay, cool. And Travis, that's a good question. Did he wield his power or did he abuse his power? And I think it depends on the perspective.
Because it may have been they got so many strikes it was removed, and this small channel, they don't have the time or the money to get that undone. You see what I'm saying? So it's just gone. You know what I'm saying? And that could be the case. I don't know. And don't get me wrong, I like what NickMercs has said, and I like what he says here. I just when you are prompted to say that because of what happened to you and you alone, I question your morality.
Yeah, if he got the channel taken down just because he didn't like the guy, that I definitely think that's cancel culture. Like, you made me mad, so I'm going to send my fans over you. We're going to keep reporting you and get you canned. That's what I see. I don't know who they are, but from what I've heard.
The channel size shouldn't matter either. If they're small, if they're big, trying to just cancel someone just because they're like, you don't like what they're doing and they're picking on you, like.
My only
point
saying small was they don't have the resources nor the time nor the
people. No, you're right. If they're smaller channel, who's going to help them come back and get them going? If say somebody like in our sphere, whatever gets deleted, people retweet, tag YouTube, like what happened with Jay. He got demonetized a couple weeks ago, and people retweet so much that he came back and all that.
And that's channel. That's the reason I said abused the power, because it's punching down. You're not even punching sideways, man. You're punching way down. Like, what I mean? And
you are right. You are right, Blebs, and that the size of the channel doesn't matter. But I do think that the content of the channel does matter, right? And I don't, if it's, it does go down to, like, if it was strictly about the thumbnails themselves, yeah, totally petty, right? Totally petty. But if there's a larger, if content that NickMercs was producing was being reused for whatever reason,
or the harassment that because didn't you say, or he said, they said, go tell him you look like you had a dick in your mouth. And if you blatantly tell your audience to go do that, no matter how small online, you're telling people to go harass people verbally and assault them verbally, because that could be considered assault in some states.
So, well, I mean, using the wrong pronouns in Michigan is assault,
Yeah.
I'll say this. So people pointed out, and this is actually, we were actually discussing this video before the stream started today, was this guy called the Ghost of 8. And let me actually pull this video up really quick. What we were talking about. So this is a guy who apparently this is one of the guys that
anybody else want to say, I like turtles. Doesn't he look like sorry
the zombie makeup?
Yeah, I had to. Sorry.
Full circle.
So we watched about half of this video before we started our stream to kind of get a little reference to this. And more or less what he does is he takes snippets of people's conversation and he talks about them, more or less kind of like what we're doing right now, based off of things that we saw on Twitter. And my thought on this is, like, this is just me. and I could be totally wrong on all this, right? And I wouldn't be the first time. But just for me personally, when I see any sort of content creator that produces content with a mask on, it devalues their argument immediately. But that's just me. And maybe, I think that just comes down to your perspective.
I think it just depends on the content. If you're just trying to protect like your privacy or something, or were you just spewing bullshit? Right.
But either way, like the point is, going back to all this is, I think what NickMercs says, as far as just more or less just fuck off, cancel culture. I think it's a great thing, and I think the more people. And once again, this goes back to the idea that there's nuance to this. We can agree with what NickMercs says without being like, "Hey, let's hold him up and be a champ." Hold him up on our shoulders. You know what I mean?
It's funny that you say that, because I had this thought when we were thinking earlier that if we were to abide by cancel cultural rules, that we would then need to cancel all the people who supported him for the past things he's done bad, after they supported him after he was canceled that time when he shouldn't have been. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Illogical logic.
And it would be this weird, like, huge fucking loop of everybody has to get, because then the people who didn't know he did these bad things, they get canceled too, and whoever worked with them then gets canceled, because
everyone gets canceled. We're all canceled.
But
we're all mid and we're all canceled together.
I had this thought, if we were to abide by those rules seriously, everybody would end up, it'd be like 7, what's the Kevin Bacon thing?
Yes, 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah, it'd be that shit. Everybody be getting canceled, and eventually Kevin Bacon's like, I'm canceled because Joey said something online.
Yeah,
who's Joey? I don't know, from New Hampshire.
Right. Joey from
I was like, who's Joey?
Yeah. Joey from New Hampshire knows Susie from Wisconsin, who knows blah blah blah, and it just goes down, and eventually, but Joey said this, whatever. I totally understand what you're saying. But once again, it goes back to nuance. Right?
Terry, not a tiger, said, I'm for mutually assured destruction. Okay.
That's right.
All right.
Well, we're there. Kyle says, hey, Craig, funny thing about LeBron James is that he said he would entertain playing in Saudi Arabia. But wouldn't that be anti-LGBTQ, though? Right.
Well,
the FIFA World Cup
exactly.
message with that.
It'd be anti a lot of things.
Right.
Yeah.
It looks, and the amount of hypocrisy. I think I've said this many, many times before, right? The sooner that everybody can realize that everybody is a hypocrite, literally everybody in some way, shape, or form, the sooner everybody can feel better about themselves.
Yeah, I tell people not to smoke cigarettes all the time, and I'm a smoker.
Right. It's, they're as soon as we get up past this like holier than thou mentality of like, listen, I'm a perfect angel and you need to be like this. Like, that's the thing that is holding up society right now.
Yeah, and I'm going to repeat what I said to you guys before the show. Something I've noticed about Nick is the way he talks. He says things in a matter-of-fact tone that there is no question that he is right, and no argument to be had, no discussion to be had. I am right, and that's the way it is. Every time I've heard him talk, he talks that way. And I don't necessarily like people who speak in absolutes. As Blabs would know, only the cis deal in absolutes.
Exactly, and there's only 2 of them.
You said Sith, right? Not cis?
Sith, yeah.
Just making sure.
Both, I don't know.
One of these days, Craig is going to watch like a
fucking
Star Wars
breeders. Sorry.
Hey, give it up for Clemson, who came in with 10 gifted memberships to the channel. Let's go. Clemson, thank you so much. That is outstanding. We genuinely appreciate that. With the 10 gifted memberships, let's go. Can I get a bunch of 10s in the chat, please? And Upus came back with 5 gifted memberships to the channel. Can I get some 5s in the chat? 10s and 5s all over the place. Thank you so much, Upus, for those 5 gifted memberships. You guys got gifted those. Make sure you say thanks. Consider
thanks. I got one.
Let's go.
Awesome.
And Jerry Crow also became a brand new member. Must have missed out on the gift train, but thank you so much, Jerry. Got that, and you got yourself one, and we appreciate that greatly.
Hey, you get a Kirby every time I clap. You get a Kirby.
Oh, there you go.
I was wondering what kept showing up every time you moved your head.
Nice. Show him that Kirby.
Wait, that's Yoshi.
Yeah, let's sit. There we go. I think at some point we're just gonna have you take off your green screen, Travis.
That's Yoshi.
Extra Zero Game says Gilbert Gottfried wrote an article about called "The Apology Epidemic" in 2014 after Affleck canceled him in 2011. He was right. Owning actions benefits you than giving into a mob that can't be satisfied. Right. Yep. Yes, because they will never, ever, ever be satisfied.
Right. Because as soon as those people get upset and you do what they want, there's going to be somebody else they're mad at, and you got to do it again.
Never, ever, ever bend the knee. Ice Cold also. Look at that. A brand new member. Let's go. Thank you so much, Ice Cold. Love that. Love that. Outstanding. All right. Let's move on to our next story here, which, look, we've talked about Disney at length. You know, you guys know, just for your reference, Wicked. I was a big Disney fan for the most of my life. I actually interned at Disney.
Wow.
I did the, you know, I love that company. It was my childhood. Epcot legitimately like is my happy place on earth.
Before we do this, can we get everybody's favorite Disney movie growing up? Or it could be now, I guess. I don't know.
The Lion King, and I'm still a child, still my favorite movie. Like actual just favorite movie. I love The Lion King and the live action. I don't want to talk about it.
Mine is probably Aladdin.
I love it. That's top 5. I have a top 5. I grew up in the Renaissance era, so I have very strong love for the old school Disney.
I think The Little Mermaid's a masterpiece. I just like Aladdin better.
Beauty and the Beast, I think, is the most beautiful movie. Like animation wise, beautiful.
It's so hard because I love Mulan.
Blabs, you disappoint me so much every day.
I love Mulan. I love The Lion King. Cinderella was probably my favorite as a really, really little kid.
Cinderella.
Lady and the Tramp is great. Like, it's so hard to have one.
Tramp is a very underrated Disney movie, I think.
Oh, you know what? Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. That one's great too. I still don't get the last one from Travis.
Was the Aristocrats Disney?
Yes. Yeah.
That's a great movie too.
I like the Drunken Goose.
So mine is probably Toy Story 4.
4, wow.
Wow. Yeah.
You're full of shit. I guarantee you not.
It just got triggered.
Out of all the Toy Stories, 4 would
you mean
not
the
have
one
been
with
the one that
Sporky
I
in
would have
it?
picked.
The most horrific Toy
I've never
Story
seen that one.
ever?
Toy Story. Wait, which is the one where they're gonna die at the end? Or is that
Isn't that the third one?
Okay, that one.
With the
Toy
purple
Story
bear, right?
I was gonna say you are full of shit.
I think
bro.
it's 3.
The fourth one is the best.
Relax, Blab. Just relax.
You mean lost it.
The Toy Holocaust one, right? Where they're killing all the toys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all inside of a furnace.
Yes.
Are you okay, Blabs? Can I come back?
Yeah, I'm fine. You just triggered me, okay?
Blab's gonna take a lap.
No, because Toy Story 4 was so long, so boring, and it had that stupid Sporky character in there with this fork.
They
made like freaking Bo Peep, whatever her name is, like some type of feminist. They got rid of her dress, gave her pants and everything. Like, no, Craig, that can't be your favorite. No, you do better.
Did you even watch 4, Craig? Because I never watched it.
I didn't watch 4 either.
If I do, I didn't remember it.
Claire,
Blabs? You watched it, Blabs?
Okay.
Yeah, I saw it once with my mom when we were like, "This is shit."
You're the only one.
Damn, Blabs. Just
hey,
relax.
They made their money off of people like Blabs. Somebody needed to tell us it was bad.
It was shit, man. Don't make a 5th one. First 3 are fine.
First 3 are great.
Like, I'm just imagining, like, I'm like, Toy Story, like as I'm saying this word by word, I'm imagining Blabs is hearing those words and she's like, and then 4 hits and she's like, and just starts
hulked out.
There's like butterflies and stuff around me, and then all of a sudden I'm just in like purgatory.
I have a question. Do you guys think Toy Story 1 would have been such a hit without Tom Hanks and
yes,
Tim Allen?
Tim Allen being
they were great.
Being
they need to be there.
Yes, it would have been, yes, mainly because of the computer animation. It was unlike anything we've ever seen before.
It was new. They definitely made it better though. It wouldn't be the same without them, but I think it still would have been a hit. The soundtrack that it hits for me. The third one, that's the one where he gives them away, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That made me cry a little. I'm not gonna lie. That hit home for me because of the first. I think of the first one. I'm just like, because I have my favorite toy is a stuffed animal, a Boo that I got when I was like 4 at Disney on Ice. When they actually used to have good toys. Now they have like nothing. But it's held up. It's very old, and I will never give it away. I don't care how old it gets. That's my favorite toy, and I'm like, I'm not giving it away.
Probably worth some money nowadays. I bet.
Probably. I mean, he's a little worn out. I lost his vest. The hat's been ripped off numerous times and been sewed back on, but that's my favorite toy.
It's
I'll
such
never
a
give it
good
up.
character, a Boo. Yeah.
I love a Boo. I even have a little
Iago
Boo on
too.
it. Yeah.
The fact that
Iago.
who did his voice again? I can't remember the guy's
Gilbert
name.
Godfrey?
Yeah, the fact that you sat through a whole movie and didn't get annoyed by that fucking voice shows you how good he is.
Mm-hmm.
So
and obviously that movie had Robin Williams in it, so like.
And he's my favorite. Listen, I have a tattoo for Robin Williams after he passed on my whole side and hook.
Yeah.
My favorite
He
movie
did
I got.
so good, especially in his music. You Never Had a Friend Like Me was just like spot on.
Mhm.
It couldn't have been anybody else for me.
You couldn't. That's why what was it, the second one, Return of Jafar, did so poorly because it wasn't Rob Williams, but Disney screwed him over, and that's why he didn't come back. But
Yeah.
it's there's nobody like him in anything. Obviously, it's Rob Williams, but they had to animate around him. Like when he started doing impressions and stuff, they had to go back and reanimate because
Would you like
Jack
to tell
Nicholson and stuff.
that little story about how they screwed him?
It was
I'm curious.
so I don't know all the details, but it was something about pay and using his likeness without paying
Yeah.
him.
So
Yeah,
he didn't want the posters to the movie to be about the genie to take up a certain percentage space because he wanted it to be about the other characters and not about his star power. And then when the poster came out, it was like the genie was the biggest took up 50% of the goddamn poster, you know.
So he was being really humble and they fucked him over?
Well, and that was part of his contract too.
Wild.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk Disney. Because there is a remake coming, which has been overly critical. I guess the internet's kind of blown up. I know, Wicked, you did a video about the new Snow White remake, which is happening. And this is
Babs was there.
this is an interview that was done with Entertainment Magazine with the stars of it. And I wanted to kind of take a glance at this. Obviously, we'll get your perspective, and I feel like I have a different perspective on this as well. So here we go. Let's take a look at this. This is Snow White, everybody.
Yikes.
Here we go.
That the cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power and what a woman is fit for in the world. And so when we came to reimagining the actual role of Snow White, it became about the fairest of them all, meaning who is the most just and who can become a fantastic leader. And the reality is, Snow White has to learn a lot of lessons about coming into her own power before she can come into power over a kingdom.
Also, the fact that she's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's the proactive one, and she's the one who set the terms, is what makes it so relevant to where we are today.
Okay. Oh,
They had
Travis,
to
you
change
muted
it
yourself.
because
What the fuck are they talking about?
they had to change it because are we supposed to believe that Gal Gadot was jealous? I don't think that girl's ugly, but Gal Gadot is better looking than her. Like, come on, they made her the evil queen.
100%.
Like,
Well,
excuse me.
And they acted like like the original didn't empower women. The evil queen was in a position of power. Yes,
She was
she's
the
bad,
queen.
but like,
Yeah.
and she's literally a fucking witch and shit. Like, she can't get any more powerful. You know what I'm saying? The main characters in the story are women.
They shouldn't. The mirror Snow White that was made was really good. It had Lily Collins, who was gorgeous, and she embodied Snow White. Like, you look at her, she was Snow White. And Julia Roberts, who was also pretty, but she's older pretty. She was the evil queen, and she was not ugly at all. But Lily Collins is younger and prettier, and that's the story. That's how it's supposed to be. And they're like this. They're missing the point.
Yeah, see, Wicked's on the same stance as Mirror with Me. That one was a great.
It was
a
really
great
good.
movie,
I
yeah.
loved that movie. Yeah, and another good movie, just talking about like being empowering for women, was Ever After with Drew Barrymore. That was one of the best Cinderella movies.
One.
I was talking about it on
so
my stream
good.
yesterday. It was
That
a really
was
great
the
movie.
one where her father died, right? And
Yeah,
claimed
so
to be
and
the-
she had
Angelica
like, Leonardo da
Houston.
Vinci's there too with the butterflies.
Yeah. This thing that they're doing in the modern Disney movies, they did the same thing in Little Mermaid. Is they feel like they got to push the man down to make the woman come up more, and it's not realistic either. Like you can have a happy ending being with a guy that you're happy with, and then also be like a boss girl, however you want to put it.
Yeah, like
Independent.
Enchanted.
Right. And
Yes.
a strong woman doesn't have to be some butch, and she could be vulnerable too. Why can't a strong woman be vulnerable to somebody she loves?
It's realistic.
That's so stupid to think that she can't. And actually, it's quite sexist.
Yeah, that's what people don't get. They make these women, you know, I guess Mary Sue is kind of an overused term, but they do that, and they think that they're appealing to women, but it's not relatable at all. So it's not appealing to anybody.
Yeah, it's a hypocritical shit. Like this is what bothers me about gay rights as well, and it bothers me about women's stuff as well. It's like in the act of trying to be so woke, I guess is the term I'll use, even though I don't like using it. They then do the thing that they are arguing against. You know what I'm saying? So them saying people need to stop being homophobic, they'll be homophobic while doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because they're minimizing, saying, you know, we need to, help them. They need this month. And no, we're just like everybody else. Just treat us like everybody else. And the same for women. It's like they literally are being sexist while trying to act like they're not being sexist.
Well, so
it's crazy.
I want you all to watch this again. And I want you to watch it from the perspective of they're not promoting Snow White. What if they're just making another movie that is not Snow White? Okay, so I want you to watch it again, because for me, I think everything she's saying is fine, right? Except if it was another movie, if it wasn't Snow White. The fact that they're doing this to Snow White is silly. But if they were making a movie where like, hey, this girl's going to go in, she's, it's all about being fair, whatever, and just and whatever. Cool, great. But it shouldn't be Snow White. So let's watch this one more time.
God forbid she be a gentle, caring soul that animals want to talk to because she's so good inside, like the fucking movie.
Right.
That the cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power, and
okay, so from here
and what a woman is fit for in the world. And so when we came to reimagining the actual role of Snow White, it became about the fairest of them all, meaning who is the most just and who can become a fantastic leader. And the reality is, Snow White has to learn a lot of lessons about coming into her own power before she can come into power over a kingdom.
Okay, so the idea that she has to learn a lot of stories. She has to learn how to be fair. She has to be learning, like, all that's like fine. But the idea of reimagining a character, as Travis says, that is absolutely the most purest of the pure is insane to me.
You know what's funny though? How she says the fairest means the most just, because you can't justify that Gal Gadot is less beautiful than she is.
Yeah.
And they changed.
That's what I see. When it's no longer about being beautiful, it's about being the most just now. Because because you're not that beautiful.
Just change the definition of fair.
Yep. They're literally just I see your point, Craig, but I just can't get past, especially the first part of it.
Sure.
Where like it was 85 years ago, it's so outdated, so we made it better.
So just so you know, in 85 years from now, people will look back on this and be like, it's so outdated. I can't believe it. And they're going to say the exact same fucking thing as these people are saying about them, because it's never going to end. The slide will continue on down. And that's the reality of it.
It's like, God forbid they make something new. And a movie that I actually really enjoyed was Princess and the Frog. I loved that movie. Why aren't they making a live action of that? It checks all the boxes that they're trying to change these old. They? I don't know. There was talks a while ago.
It was
but
in pre-production or something. Like they were
Brave.
They
Brave was great.
Yeah, but like what they want, you don't have to swap any genders or any for races with. Tiana's a really good role model. She's the only Disney princess that worked. She worked 2 jobs. She worked her butt off. It's a really great message, and they're trying to change all these old princesses. Like just do Tiana, write some new stuff, and Brave too. That's a good point. Yes. They have strong female characters.
No, because Brave is a white chick.
To
Yeah,
your
they would do
point,
it.
Because that's not diverse, even though she's Scottish and a whole other part of not even America, right?
And
That's
she's
just
got
not-
red
that's not
hair, so
diverse.
careful what you ask
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
to your point, they could have chose one of 100 other movies to do. They, like I said, they chose the most peaceful Disney princess that ever was in existence. So peaceful, so kind, so calm.
They're gonna Galadriel
that-
her and
that
make it
all these-
Galadriel, and she's gonna
That literally
people.
animals wanted to speak to her.
Snow White's
You know
gonna
what I'm
shank them
saying?
all. I'm
Like,
telling you right now, she's gonna carry a sword. She's gonna attack people.
I mean, they
You'll
already
see-
had the tough Snow White, right? With the Kristen Stewart one, the Snow White
Yeah.
and Huntsman. I mean,
it
So
makes me wonder: are the animals not going to talk to her in this one? And if so,
I know I
are-
wouldn't have.
Right. So she's going to be some badass girl who's fighting and doing all this, and then the animals are like, "Yeah, I feel calm around you."
sorry.
Yeah, probably
Um,
not.
So I saw this. You were talking about the Princess and the Frog, and
Well, I actually have a fun fact about the Princess and the Frog. The Princess and the Frog is an original book, and they completely changed everything about it because I read the series growing up, and they changed everything about it. Tiana's not a person in the books. Everything's different, and they
Really?
made it that movie. Yeah.
Wow.
The main character, what is her name? The prince's name is Edric. It's completely different.
so I saw this article, and I nearly got pulled into it. But I saw this article, and I was like, oh. But tell me this couldn't happen. Exclusive: Jenny Ortega in Simu cast in live action Princess and the Frog.
Is she black?
No. Travis got pulled into it.
I got pulled into, but notice the date: April 1st.
Yeah.
So it clearly an April Fool's joke, but it's one of those things where you go like,
huh?
Yeah,
It could
I could see that
Yes.
happening. I could absolutely, Disney would make that happen for sure.
It's not inclusive enough because they're both black.
Right.
What the fuck?
Well,
All right.
technically, Naveen, I don't think Prince Naveen is actually supposed to be a black guy.
Is
Where he's
not?
from
Okay.
doesn't exist, but I think it's more maybe like Indian or something. I
Okay.
don't know. But where he lives doesn't exist. Of course, if they do a live action, they'll make him black. Whatever, it's fine. But like, he's from some made up place, and we have no
Who's
idea where he's
this?
actually from. Prince Naveen from the movie.
The movie and Princess and the Frog.
Oh, that's his
Yeah.
name. Okay, I never watched it, so I
You didn't? It's really good. You should. It was actually
used to
really
watch
good.
it when they completely changed it from the original books. I'm like, no, this is my Princess and the Frog. I don't know what you guys are watching.
I understand that.
Like
So-
it's like a whole curse and everything in
Well,
that story.
When you read a book and then watch a movie, it changes how you see the book. Because I read all the Harry Potter books and then watched them, and now I can't get them fucking actors' faces out of my head when I read
Well,
them.
they're not
so-
even the same characters in these two
Yeah.
different stories either. So like it's completely different.
All right. I guess the put a pin on this. What is the over under on how much money this movie will lose? Because I think we can all agree that Snow White will, like, nobody wants to see this, right?
We know the budget.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was the budget? Like, are they still filming or is it like post production?
They obviously didn't put the budget into the clothes because my God,
They went to Party City, bro.
they did.
I don't see anything about the budget itself, but I guess an overall over under on the box office. I mean, will it make $100 million? Will it make $200 million? You know,
I
like
don't think
that's
so.
right.
I don't think anyone's actually excited for this. Like
No.
with the Little Mermaid, the thing that they were getting was that it was a black princess, a black mermaid, and that's what people were grabbing them for. But with this one, nobody's really excited. There's no
No.
marketing for this. They're like, what are you going to grab them for?
The only talk about it is about the 7 companions, which is being told now that they might not actually be the dwarves.
Yes, the magical
So I
creature.
don't know.
We showed a picture of it, and it's like literally it's like a rainbow flag
Mhm.
of there.
I'm wondering if they're going to
only one of
reshoot
them.
after all this bad talk.
Only
That could be
one of
why
them
they're
is a
saying that
little
they're
person.
their placeholder. I don't know. I was told yesterday, I didn't hear about this, that they're going to be like bandits or something, and that wasn't actually the dwarves, but they could just be saying that now because of all the backlash that they got from it. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I don't think this movie will do well at all, and especially if they're going to do reshoots. It's going to be like another Flash movie. Where
Plot
it's just so many
twist, it's going to
reshoots.
be Peter Dinklage, CGI. He's going to be all the dwarfs.
I've seen a reference of $200 million budget. I'm not 100%
Wow.
on that though.
Well, I don't. It would be very interesting to see what happens with the movie, because I think it will absolutely fail.
If,
But
I'm
I think
telling
so
you,
too. It's gonna
Did
fail.
Little Mermaid fail, or was it a success?
it,
I don't know.
It lost money.
didn't do great. If you look at Disney's track record on big movies
have
in the
not done
past
well.
year, it's been horrible. Like really
They have
bad.
not done well in the last couple of years. Like
No.
the only thing that I thought did well was like Cinderella, Maleficent.
It makes me wonder if they
Cinderella.
why don't they just cut their losses and stop? Like, have they made them all so like they fear not using this content that's already produced, or what? Like,
so I have Little Mermaid pulled up. It made $560 million, which on the surface you're like, wow, that's insane. But I
What was the budget?
guarantee,
Yeah.
yeah, the
guarantee
original
that was not
probably
what they wanted.
probably made a lot more.
They
than
were
that.
probably going for like, we're gonna make $1 billion. Just you wait and see. Wah
Right.
wah.
Right.
Pull out
right,
the
right.
kazoo.
So the budget for Little Mermaid was $250 million. So yeah, it's crazy. It was estimated to cost around $200 million. So they may be breaking even at this point.
Plus marketing, I'm assuming, because that's just production, right?
The original, according to Box Office Mojo, the 1989 film earned over $211 million globally. That's $517 million adjusted for inflation.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it made like the same as the original.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to figure back then,
It was
like,
new,
and theaters weren't like as widely everywhere as they were. You know what I'm saying? Like, small towns didn't have theaters back then. They do now because they can get that stuff digitally. They don't have to have it shipped out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Shane Bentley came in, says, not to necessarily push my faith on stream, but you're right, Craig. As I've done my due diligence of reading the Bible, it shows how everyone is broken and only in Christ we are made whole. Thank you, Shane. Appreciate that.
I think a lot of times religious people forget that.
Right. I think everybody forgets that. Sal says the evil queen is always hotter than Snow White.
You must have a thing for moms, Sal.
Yo.
MILF.
Chris, make sure you find Sal's search history. Says Chris says they end up doing the thing they argue against, inclusivity, etc., because Hollywood is superficial. Appearance equals everything, and depth is, quote, overrated.
Yeah, it's all for PR. They aren't doing it because they actually care.
They want the drama.
Right. That's what bothers me when Target puts a fucking flag, gay pride flag up on Pride Month. Well, then they donate to anti-gay campaigns. So, take everything with a little. They want your money.
Yeah, of course, it's all marketing. Okay, well, I'll tell you, we're running up on it. We're close to an hour and a half in. I did want to talk about Sinead O'Connor today, but I feel like that's going to be a bigger discussion. Do you guys want to dig into that real quick and try to get through it, or do you guys want to move on to our wrap?
I don't care.
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
Wicked, do you have time?
Yeah, I have time.
Okay, cool. Well, let's talk about it. So, Sinead O'Connor died yesterday or a couple days ago, whatever it was. She died recently, and they didn't say why she died or how she died. But for those who don't know, Sinead O'Connor was a musician from, most notably known for her time in the late 80s, early 90s. She sang a song called "Nothing Compares to You," which is just it's a beautiful song, right? It's a beautiful song. It has this great, kind of love message in it. But she died in the last couple days, but she's most notably known for something she did on Saturday Night Live. And she sang an a cappella version of Bob Marley's War, which War is a song that's about more or less racism. And the song talks about, in Bob Marley's version, it talks about how unless everybody is on an equal playing field from a race perspective, in every country, there will always be war, right? In every nation, every country, until everybody's on an equal setting. Sinead O'Connor sang that song a cappella on Saturday Night Live. And after doing so, she ripped up a picture of the Pope at the time. I think it was Pope John Paul II, I believe. And her rendition was more or less about what was happening in the church and child molestation and all these horrible things that we've since learned about. And I wanted to kind of show this just a brief second to kind of talk about
and specifically the cover up of it too,
right?
Not just the molestation, but the fact that the Pope himself at the time, there were rumors that, well, no, there weren't rumors. He literally sent cardinals to other cities after they had admitted to molesting children and then didn't tell anybody in that new city that they sent them there.
You've seen the movie, right? This is where I learned more about it. I knew about it, but with was it Michael Keaton, the movie where the Boston Times or something broke it, and they went and did all the research and seen just like hundreds of priests that were just relocated.
Yeah, yes. I did not see this movie.
It's actually a really good movie.
That's why the Pope stepped down. There's only in history been 2 popes 3 times. Okay, they used to sell the papal seat back in the day, right? So a guy sold it to his cousin or something like that back in the day. So there was 2 popes for a while, and then there was another time, I believe, during a war, there was 2 popes when one side said, no, that's not the Pope. We have another Pope. Well, and this time when he resigned.
So, yeah, so that movie was in 2015, the movie Spotlight you're talking about. And this was, but to kind of circle back to Sinead O'Connor, this was the incident that happened. And you'll notice it's very, well, we'll just watch the last like 20 seconds of it.
In the victory of good over evil. Fight the real enemy.
Notice how silent it is after it
happens.
And
let's, before we go on about that, let's be clear what happened to her. She was blackballed. Nobody would ever work with her again, not for like a very long time. And I don't think she ever made a record again or did a live performance or anything like that.
Oh no, she did plenty of those, but she never had any mainstream success.
Right.
Yeah. It was interesting because I remember this as it was brought up in the chat that, and I'm curious about, chat's involvement here is very much requested. I remember this being, I was 10 or 11 at the time, and I didn't remember hearing about this the next day on TV because Saturday Night Live at the time, it was a very big deal. Cable hadn't quite taken over what it would be. The internet obviously didn't exist, so when this happened, it was a very, very, very big deal. The reason why I was thinking about this was obviously she passed on, but Rob Schneider, who was a big player on Saturday Night Live back in the day, the "you can do it" guy, right?
Mm-hmm. Clarification, that was Craig. That was Pope Benedict, not John Paul II.
Okay, well, it was the Pope at the time. It was the Pope. So he posted this on Twitter, and I wanted to read this. This was kind of interesting. He said, "I remember the night that Sinead O'Connor ripped up a picture of the Pope when I was on Saturday Night Live. Though I didn't see it happen. It was an episode where I was very busy and a lot of sketches, and there are moves the performers have where they know they can get laughs. Anyways, I was backstage in a quick change, getting dressed for the next sketch, and I didn't know anything that had happened. I came out, and during the next sketch, I felt like the audience had changed. My usual physical moves that got laughs fell silent. No sketches got laughs after that, and the rest of the night was eerily quiet. It wasn't till after the Pope showed. It wasn't until after the show that I learned that Sinead had torn up a picture of the Pope. I didn't realize at the time that it would be a big controversy. I spent some time with her at the after party at the Tea Garden, and she was gentle and lovely and didn't seem to have a worry about anything. We laughed about a few things, trying to understand each other's accents, and had a drink, and she couldn't have been lovelier. All these years later, you realize that fame and all that it comes with is very destructive to gentle souls. It was my sincere hope that the peace that eluded Sinead in life, she can now have, resting in God's embrace." Right.
Sadly, I think the people who should have not canceled her and defended her should have been in the church, the Catholic Church. They should have literally said, you know what, she has a point. He was covering, if they were actually worried about children, he was covering for child molesters. Let's get him out of our fucking church.
What was interesting was
It's a cult. They gotta protect.
But it, you know, the backlash that I remember from this, specifically, I was reading the Wikipedia article about the incident, and you know, Wikipedia is what it is, right? It's, you know, it's a, you can find some good information, but I remember this, just the overall backlash of like, how could you do this on national TV? Do you all, Travis, do you remember that at all?
Yeah, it to be honest, besides OJ, and there was probably one other thing. This is one of the largest news moments from my young childhood that I do remember, which is because it was such a large thing, you know.
Hold on, real quick. J. Rome says, "Wow, calling my faith a cult."
No, that's not what I said. I said the behavior like of protecting people who are pedophiles and harassing younger children is cult-like behavior, guys.
Right.
Not calling your religion a
So
cult.
if you listen to what I said, if the people in that religion had called him out rather than canceling Sinead O'Connor, then it wouldn't seem like a cult or cultish behavior, let's say.
And to be clear, I think there's, you know, when it comes to religion, I think that all religions have a little, you know, cultishness to them, whether you're Christian, Muslim, you know, Catholic, whatever. I think just the idea of like following an idea or following a person or something like that is kind of cultish, right? When you, like, if you just break it down to the basic level of what a cult is, right?
And don't most religions say follow God, not a man, as well? I could have swore that the Bible and the Quran both say that men are fallible. The men, even the men who represent me in the church. So your faith is something between you and I, as in God and you, and that should be it. You know what I'm saying? Not some organization.
And as Crazy T, by the way, says, I try to stay away from religious talks. But be clear, like, I don't care what you believe. I really don't. Like, I genuinely don't. For me, it goes back to, you know, I don't care. I've said this 5,000 times on the show. I don't care what you believe as long as you don't try to push it on me, right?
Well, and this affects other people. That's the problem. They were molesting children. Okay.
Yeah.
But for me, it goes back to the reason why I wanted to talk about this day was more not necessarily about what the church did or didn't do or whatever, but more about why Sinead O'Connor was culturally relevant for a very long time, and the incident that happened with her, whether or not it was true, whatever that, you know, it was just the overall backlash, and how that to me was the first instance of cancel culture that I remember. Someone being relevant and then immediately the next day no longer existing in the zeitgeist of pop culture. Right.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of somebody else, and to be honest, the only other person that I can come up with is the Dixie Chicks. When they said about George Bush, when they said they aren't proud he's from their state and all that shit, and that he's a war criminal, and man, they got it hard. And they were kind of right about some of it. But,
and to be clear, Sal says, don't forget atheists as well. Look, and atheists, Democrats, Republicans, and independents, like flat earthers, you know, like go down the line, right? There's cultish behavior literally in all of it, right? If you break it down to the basic things. And I think that just goes back to, we as humans, we naturally want to follow something, right? We're looking for guidance. We're looking for, you know, something along those lines. So we gravitate to that, you know, and once again, it's not to demean any religion by any means. I am positive that there are horrible things that happen in every cross section of life, whether it's religion, whether it's politics, whether pick anything, it happens, and it's bad, right? That's, once again, going back to the sheer basics of things. You know, there's bad people in all walks of life, and you can point them out and say, it's, you know, it's a horrible thing, and you know what, you're right. You know, you're right. So Sal says, I'll join your cult, Craig. Well, good. Just send me $100,000 and no, and you too. You know, speaking of like, dude, speaking of like giving people money, colleges, that's a cult, man. Like there's people who go to Texas A&M who like it's cult-like behavior down there. Like these major universities where you're giving money to these universities in exchange for a life-altering experience, and this group of people that will support each other, this alumni, like it's cultish. Like go down the line, you can pick anything, you know.
If
frats,
you ain't, frat.
you know.
If you ain't never
in,
seen a frat,
in gaming, hey, Call of Duty, you know, like it's cult, you know, Nintendo fans, Sony fans, like it's cult-like behavior across the board, you know. So, anyways, that's all.
That's what we call fanboys now. It's
Right.
just a different name. We call them something different. We really need to quit minimizing things like that, I think. But
we should start calling them fan cults. There we go. Put it in perspective. I'm a member of the Nintendo fan cult. It makes you really
well, you can
things.
even like be like some like Sims are cults too. They're just so obsessed with someone, put them on a pedestal.
Right, dude.
Like Pokey Sims, right, Maza?
Yeah.
You in the chat still?
You just woke him up if he's not.
the only problem I have with words like simps and stuff like that is that it cutifies it and makes it less serious. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, it depends on like the situation. Some of them are like, "Whoa, call 911, just get a restraining order." Where others are like, "Oh my God, you're pretty."
it's just a thin line for me that could be crossed.
Yeah.
I hope that that J Rome didn't like pop out too quickly, because J Rome he's been with me for so long, and I hope that I hope he finished the rest of the conversation before he got too upset. But either way, because J Rome's my boy, and you know, and I hope he knows that. But with all that said, all right, it was a really interesting time. It was like 1991, whenever it was, and the backlash was real. And you hear people's perspective who were there that night and how they didn't really understand kind of the backlash that was going to happen and everything attached to it. So, yeah, there you go. I just kind of wanted to talk about that.
If you think about that, when you have, and this kind of shows you what social media like is today, when you have an organization like that, like the Catholic Church spreading the word, they were telling people in churches all over, guaranteed. Did you see what Sinead did? They were all talking about it, guaranteed. And so not only did people who didn't see it hear about it and then go watch it, you know what I'm saying, and then got riled up, they were getting each other riled up about it every day, talking about it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of like an online community now. You have somebody who has 10 million followers and they do a video on somebody and gets them all riled up. They go cancel that person.
Right.
Without even doing research too.
Right. They just take
kind of the same with movies, with movies and TV shows too. Like I like to go, like people I might trust their opinions on. They might hate something that I think is all right or I like. So I like to make my own opinion. And these days I feel like that's kind of lost on a lot of people. They see their favorite influencer and they're just like, this person hated it, so I will not go see it. You're so right. Let's stand behind this person. It's like, well, maybe form your own opinion. That's, you know, it's just kind of gone these days on a lot of people.
What is this nuance that you speak of? What is this? The
Weird.
idea of
Thinking
formulating
for yourself? What?
I know. Unheard of.
All right. Love it. Cyberchud said that nobody in America understood what she was talking about back in the day. And he says, which is true. He says, trust me, as somebody who's old enough to see it on TV. Right. And you're 100% right. So, and Terry says she hated Catholics and actively pitted herself against them. Ireland didn't like her. Right. And look, if to say that what she did wasn't like motivated by her own, politics and agenda, right? Like, let's not be ignorant towards the situation.
Right. But let's also clarify that, as in all things, I can like what somebody said or did and not be associated with the other things they said or did.
Yeah, you can agree with a statement, but doesn't mean you agree with everything that they have to say. Like, I agree with this part.
Then that in itself is cancel culture. You know what I'm saying?
Pickles McGee says, to be fair, the word cult has negative connotations in English. In languages like Spanish, a culto can just be a meetup for religious purposes. True. This is true. But I'm just breaking it down to the bare essentials. But all right, well, let's go wrap it up for the day. I want to thank Wicked for hanging out with us today. And we got memes. We got a lot of memes.
And Extra Zero's back from vacation, and he was on point today.
Yay,
Gotcha,
Extra Zero's
Gotcha,
back.
bro.
No, I'm just kidding.
Memes.
All right, let's set
We
them up.
missed you, Extra Zero.
Here we go. We got look at this one.
We only had one zero while you were gone, sadly.
Just a singular. Hey, Travis taking his dog out today.
I mean,
It's fine.
yeah, but you needed to put the dog like 3 feet behind me,
Inside
looking
the
at
house
me like,
still.
why the fuck
Closing
are
the
you
door
out
behind
there?
in front of Travis, like, no, you can't come back in.
Then we have this one from Extra Zero.
Wait,
One
look,
second.
there's a dog there on the left in the shadow.
No, that's just, I don't think that's
A smiling dog.
It looks like that. It does.
Yeah.
We got Craig in another timeline right here. And this is clearly
Oh,
a
no.
reference to Napoleon Dynamite, me standing outside the Lizzo bus. I guess
knew
you could say
Craig
things are getting
liked
pretty
Lizzo.
serious. That's right.
Lizzo.
I like that he took the L from La Fonda and just covered it up with Lizzo. Which is great. La Fonda. And then we have this one from Horny Alf. Says another great side scrollers game. There we go. A super side scrollers cart, which definitely needs to be made. If anybody wants to create that, that'd be wonderful. Would really love to see that.
Like a flawed in the back.
Then we have this one from Extra Zero. Says Blabs and Trav star in the most controversial film of the summer. Blabs.
Blabs, you know what? I'm not. I was pro-life, but I'm gonna have to abort you.
Oh no! Oh no!
I'm a fetus.
For a moment, I'm like, wait, where's Blabs?
Hold on, I want to watch that one more time. That's brilliant.
Blabs, you know what? I'm not. I was pro-life, but I'm gonna have to abort you.
Oh no! Oh no!
What?
Oh no!
What?
Blabs.
I love Wicked just peering over Travis with a hand on the shoulder. Like,
know.
oh, yeah, what's up, honey?
Love it. Then we have this last one from Extra Zero. Says Craig's glasses remind me of the ones Homer Simpson used to sleep through jury duty. Putting on my glasses over there. Why am I so green? Oh, I guess I'm yellow to kind of match up with that. Okay, there you go.
You colorist.
Good editing.
Love that. That's great. And Darian is going to finish us off with a nice $4.99 super chat. It says just FYI, John Paul II didn't resign. Benedict resigned for health reasons, but that was well after those scandals.
So maybe I was wrong. I thought one was I thought he was forced out for that. And didn't Benedict also transfer people around to cover up for child shit? I thought he did too.
I'm too ignorant on the situation to speak.
I mean, if I'm wrong, I'll clarify next time we're live, but I'm pretty sure he did it too.
On average, Joe says somewhere to see the memes. It's all blurry on your iPhone, on your YouTube iPhone screen. Yeah, you can see them on the Side Scrollers podcast Twitch or Twitter channel. We will
Twitter
repost them
and
over there.
Instagram. Some of them get uploaded to Instagram.
And Insta over there. Cool. All right. Wicked, give everybody the rundown of where they can find you.
YouTube and Kick and Twitter, Instagram. I'm everywhere. I even do cosplays that are all over the place too. So if you're into that, I do a little bit of everything.
She did a pirate the other day.
Yes, I was a pirate the other day. That's
Nice.
actually one of my
He's my
favorites. That
captain
one's
on Sea
fun.
of Thieves.
Yes. Blabs is a great
Great chunky.
Great chunky. If you know, you know.
You know. All right, guys. Thank you very much for popping in today. Genuinely appreciate it. I'll see you guys in about 30 to 45 minutes. As I legitimately, today is the day. Yoshi's Island is over.
Today is the day again.
Most likely. So hop on in. I'll see you guys very, very shortly. Hopefully everybody comes in, and hopefully there's no level resets where I got to keep playing through the game again and again and again. But look, we're going to have a great one. We'll see you guys later. Wicked, thank you again for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, super fun,
good
wasn't
time.
it? Blabs, go follow her over on Kick. which is great. And go follow Travis over on Twitter as well. Links all down below in the description. You guys have a great day. Remember, people are going to try to keep you down. Don't let them. You guys got a goal. Go get it. We'll see you guys shortly and tomorrow for Side Scrollers. Bye-bye.
Fatality.